get it tonight.
Hey, what's up you guys, Jack here. So today I'm going to be talking about the changes done to our player spawn pads on Fortnite Creative. If you don't already know, which I'm pretty sure everyone, at least 90% of people out there already know, the OG player spawn plates are no longer in the devices. Now a lot of my tutorials have used this device, and obviously like it's no longer an option. You're not gonna be able to use this. Now a lot of my tutorials on my channel, I've been using this device, and till this day I do have a lot of people saying, where's the spawn plate, where's the player spawn plate, I can't find it, where is it, this tutorial's outdated. Yeah, obviously you're gonna have to use a new device, which is the player spawn pad, which is this fella. Till this day I get people saying that it's outdated, where's the spawn plate. Now obviously that's an old update, it's been a while since that's been done. But in this video, that is actually not the main thing that I want to talk about. There was actually changes done to our player spawn pad. So in the settings, we got our activating class. From my understanding, this wasn't an option. I remember when I was working on a map of mine, I was thinking of using the player spawn and utilizing the class system. This spawn pad didn't have this option. We didn't have this option to set up different classes for these spawn pads. But we'll get back to that option. We'll talk about it in a second. There's another option which is called lock to player name. And I was thinking, like, why did Epic Games have this option? There's a handful of other options that could have been added. Now thinking about it, what could you do with this option? So this option is called lock to player name. What you can actually do is type people's Epic names in here. So for example, my Epic name is JackJackHD. I actually don't know if it's actually based on my Xbox gamer tag or my Epic name. But the idea is you type in the person's name in here, and it actually restricts this spawn pad to that person. So for example, if you wanted yourself to only be able to spawn on this player spawn, you put your name here. Now what I did notice about this option, messing around with it, it doesn't mean that this player will spawn here no matter what. It'll only restrict anyone else from spawning on this player spawn. Now if you wanted that player that you type in here to spawn on this player spawn, you'd have to mess around with the settings, the other player spawn settings, and make sure that this is like a priority so that the player actually spawns on this player spawn. But me personally, I'd use the settings so that it restricts anyone else from spawning on this player spawn. So maybe like a secret room, maybe like a place you want to have secret and only have yourself spawning in that location. All right, so next thing, option activating class. If you know about classes are like how do I explain this? Classes are kind of like classes in Call of Duty. Different classes have a possibility of having different weapons and stuff like that. You can design it however you like, but also the different classes can have different health, and you can customize it to however you like. It's just different categories for a specific team. So in Fortnite Creative, there's different teams. There's 16 teams in total, but also you have 16 different classes, possible classes you can design. So for example, if I have it set to 1, only class 1 can spawn on this player spawn pad. But briefly to the basics, classes are, you can design classes using the class designer, but also what's very important is the class selector. Class selector is how to allow people to change to another class. Now I actually made an example on how you can utilize this new class settings on your player spawn pads. So I started the game. So imagine you have a starting area and you spawn with other people, and now all these player spawn pads, I have them set to a specific class, so everyone spawns here no matter what at the start of the game. Now the idea is we're in our starting area here, and there are 4 different options. This is just an example. You can do whatever you want, but the idea is you jump into one of these class selectors and it actually eliminates you, then changes your class. And once you change your class, you'll spawn in another location with a player spawn pad with that specific class. So for example, I'm going to choose class 3. I get eliminated, respawn at class 3 spawn pads. And there you go. So I spawned at the location 3, which is 3 spawn pads set to activating class of 3. Now what if you wanted to be class 1? You do the same thing, walk over to class 1's class selector. Then you'd be class 1 section, or place where you have those spawn pads set to class 1. And yeah, same thing with class 2 and class 4. Now what if you get eliminated? Let's see what happens. If I get eliminated, I will spawn back at class 1's location. Now what if the game ends? This is what I actually noticed when I was building my realistic 3v3 map. You actually keep the same class every round. I spawned at the class 1 location because my player spawn pads were set to activating class of 1. Then obviously that would happen every time the game ends. But yeah, that's just an example on what you can do with the new settings, with the class settings on the player spawn pads. Now, there's actually other ways to set this up without using the player spawn pads, but I find this is probably the most simple way to set this up. With this technique, you can have different player spawn pads in the same team. So, you know, originally, the only way you can have people spawn in different locations with a player spawn pad is if they are in different teams. But if they're on the same team, you can have it set so they have different classes and have them spawn in different locations, as you guys can see here. And you know, this option here is very useful. I'll definitely be using it for some of my game modes, especially the more complicated ones. And yeah, that's pretty much it. If you're newer to, you know, Fortnite Creative, or maybe you don't know about classes, what I have set for the different classes right now, I have class 1 to class 4, and the different classes have different weapons connected to it. Using the class designer, I have weapons placed into these devices. Class designer, if you go into the options, you have different, you know, customizable options to set up the, you know, the different class and have them however you like. And the class selector is how to, you know, select that player to be that class. Obviously, you have the starting area to show how that works. Class selector, class to switch to, I have set to 2, and so on. Also, another important option in the class selectors, I have respawn player on switch. I have it set to yes, so you get eliminated. And then because the player spawn pads are set to that class, you'll actually spawn in, you know, another player spawn location. In the starting area, I have a default class set up, so activating class is set to 10. Because I selected a class selector, which changes my class, because I'm a new class, I can't spawn on the original starting area spawns, because these are set to class 10. If I go to my island, then go to the game tab, I have default class identifier, I have it set to 10. Meaning that on default, everyone spawns as class 10. Another option that's really important, which on default it's set to end of game, which is really good. This actually just allows people to keep their class every round. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't want to continue rambling on, you guys. That's essentially it. That was the 2 options that have been added to, you know, the spawn pads. Good luck with your maps out there, you guys. I'll definitely be using this for my 3v3 realistic. But yeah, you guys, that's pretty much it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the content. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video of me trying to explain how, you know, the new settings works and what you can do with that class setting in the player spawn pads. Again, this was just a, you know, example. There are other ways you can utilize the new settings. Make sure you guys smash the like button if you guys enjoy this type of content. Subscribe if you guys are new. Let me know what you guys think about this, you know, the new settings, if you guys are planning on using it, and use code JackJackHD in the item shop if you guys do want to support me and this channel. See you guys next time. Take it easy, guys. Peace.